Sir, you mentioned that there were about 5 people not on your SERT team at some point arriving at Fairview Road or the area of it.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
3 of them were Mass State Police. You mentioned Tully and 2 of his colleagues.
Correct, sir.
Did you see anybody taking photographs of the items that you found?
Yes, Lieutenant Tully was taking photographs while we were there, sir.
And did you see somebody putting the items in bags?
Yes, they did, sir.
Was that one of the 2 people that were with Lieutenant Tully?
Yes, correct, sir.
You mentioned there were 2 Canton police officers. Were they part of the search?
They were not, sir, no.
Were they on the grid?
They were not, sir.
Did you ever see them in the area on the grid?
I did not, no, sir.
They were there. Were they involved in any way in the crowd?
They weren't the only people that ever came on scene other than us, and those local officers were at some point. The media did arrive on scene.
When you say on scene, is on scene different than on the grid?
Correct, just in the general vicinity, sir.
Did you know what the Canton police officers were doing?
I do not know, sir.
Did you ever see either of them ever come on your grid?
They did not know, sir.
Did you ever see anybody place or toss or throw anything onto your grid?
I'll allow it.
Did you ever see anybody place or toss or throw anything onto your grid?
I did not know, sir.
Did you ever see anybody intrude on the grid and leave an item?
Choose a different word.
Did you ever see anybody physically intrude upon your grid?
No, no one did that, sir.
You were asked about best practices memorializing. The person who was taking photographs.
Hold on for a second.
Slow down a little, Mr. Brown.
You mentioned best practices of memorializing items. And you also mentioned Lieutenant Tully was taking photographs.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Do you know if those photographs were time and date stamped?
I believe they were, sir.
Is time and date stamping with photographs best practices in memorializing things?
Yes, they are, sir.
Now, before you defined the grid, and before you began that search, you knew other state police officers, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Did you know a person by the name of Trooper Yuri Buchanan?
Yes, I do know him, sir.
Did you know somebody at the time known as Trooper Michael Proctor?
Yes, I did know. I do know him, sir.
Were either Michael Proctor or Trooper Yuri Buchanan at Fairview that night?
No, they were not, sir.
Did you see them at any time from the point you got there at 4:56 p.m. until when you left?
No, I did not see them there, sir.
You mentioned that somebody came out of a side door at 34 Fairview who had a hoodie on.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
How long were they outside for?
Maybe 10 seconds, sir.
Did they at any time interfere with your search?
No, they did not.
Did they at any time try to discourage or dissuade you from searching?
Next question, I'll sustain
Did that person do anything to impede your search?
No, he did not.
You were asked about your conversation with Trooper Tully,
Yes, sir.
and he mentioned, or you characterized, he was very satisfied that what you had found, everything you were going to locate at that time.
That's correct, sir.
Did he ever suggest that he expected that you would not find anything else?
No, he did not.
Did he ever suggest that there was no other trace evidence there?
No, he did not.
Was there a discussion that he or you or other people may come back to search further at a different time?
We offered to come back at a later date, and he just accepted our offer, but we were never contacted to come back, sir.
When you offered to come back, was that based on your assessment that it was a difficult area to search?
Correct. Again, as we talked about probability of detection, we'll base that on 10 different categories, give him a baseline percentage chance of would we have found what we were looking for. I told him there was a good chance we did not locate all the evidence, asked him if he wanted us to come back at a later date, sir.
And when you mentioned that you couldn't finish the search because of the grass, tell us a little bit about what made it difficult because of the grass.
Even using the push brooms, we couldn't properly move the snow off the grass as we were moving it. And with the dark, even the headlamps, I didn't feel like we're clearing it enough to continue searching it. I think our best efforts would be to focus on the street because I was more concerned about eventually the plow coming in, clearing curb to curb and moving any evidence that was on the street. My thought was if with the grass not being able to properly clear it, at least that would be contained to be searched at a later date as the snow melted.
And given those assessments, is that some of those reasons why you offered to come back?
Yes, sir.
I've shown you some photographs you've identified about some of the pieces that you found or the pieces that you found that night. I'd like to show those photographs to the jury.
Okay.
If we could show Exhibit 73, please. Is that one of the photographs you identified earlier?
Yes, it is, sir.
Is there a chance, Ms. Gilman, that we could do a close-up of that? Can you describe what you're seeing?
It's a piece of clear taillight. It's got rigid edges, some indentations on it, distinctive markings.
Did all of the pieces you found have those type of markings on it?
Not sure if they have those exact same markings, sir. I'd have to compare the photos.
Was there different colors of pieces that you found that night?
Yes, we also found pieces of red taillight as well.
Could we see 73A, please? Is 73A a picture from further away of the same piece?
Yes, that's what it appears to be, sir.
Was it easier to see these pieces that night in person than it is in photos, or is there any difference in the ability to identify these pieces?
Sustained.
When you saw the piece from where you were standing, did it look any different than it does in this photo?
No, it doesn't, sir.
Could we see 75, please? In that picture from this perspective, can you see any pieces of taillight?
There's a piece of red taillight in the left-hand side of that photo, sir.
On a little bit of a mound?
Correct, sir.
Is that where that piece was found, on the mound?
No, that's the photo, like we discussed earlier, sir, that came up with one of the shovels. And you can see, when you get close to that photo, you'll see the actual molding of the overturned shovel.
So it was scooped up and then placed on that mound?
Correct. As the trooper overturned it to start beginning to sift through the different layers of snow, that's where he deposited that snow, sir.
Could we get a close-up of the left side of that picture, please? Can you see the shovel marks near that piece?
Yes, they're directly behind it and off to the left. You can see the molding, the shovel.
You can see a bit of a divot to the left of the red.
Yes, correct, sir.
Is that part of imprint from the shovel?
Yes, it is, sir.
Could we see 75A, please? Is that a closer picture of the same item?
Yes.
The imprint, does that give you a clearer view of the shovel you were speaking about?
Yes, it does, sir.
Could we see 76, please? Is that one of the photographs you identified earlier?
Yes, it is, sir.
And that piece, was it found at ground level?
Yes, that photo is where that item was located, sir.
Touching the ground?
Yes, sir.
Could we get a close-up of that, please? And if we could have 76A, please. Is that a picture of the same item?
Yes, it is. Just zoomed in, sir.
You can close that, please, and turn the lights on. Thank you. To be clear on the timeline, your colleague arrived, first colleague arrived at what time?
4:54 p.m., sir.
And you arrived at?
4:56.
You mentioned that it looked like fresh snow.
Yes, sir. The area we searched was fresh, undisturbed snow.
And when you got there at 4:56, when you described fresh, undisturbed snow, was that your impression when you first got there at 4:56?
Yes, I had realized that the plow had not cleared curb to curb.
You began your actual search at what time?
Right around 5:20, we wound up again. We moved a couple of our cruisers around just to add extra headlights, extra lighting on the scene itself.
And the first piece of evidence was found at what time?
5:45, sir.
Your area that you searched, did you say it was 8 to 10 feet?
No, sir. The area marked off was just over approximately 60 feet. We'd gone about 8 to 10 feet towards the end of the search without locating any more items, and that's where we suspended the search.
How much of your focus was near the street area?
Only 99% of it, sir. As soon as we got to the grass and realized we couldn't clear it properly, my main focus was on that street, just again because I was concerned about the plow coming through at a later time.
You were worried that if you didn't finish the street, there could be some impact from plowing?
Yes, sir.
And did you say 99% was the street area?
Yeah, approximately, sir.
Thank you very much.